Okay, moving on to chapter 3. This chapter would have originally worked the best if we turned into 2 or 3 chapters, but considering how few people are involved in the project at this moment, we need to move along quickly. Once again, if somebody wants to draw this out and expand upon it in a finished manga form, then we'd gladly accept the undertaking and expand on the details, but for the time being, we'll make the most of this chapter into a type of briefing. Chapter 3. The Yamazaki Brothers. The chapter will open up with Makoto and his hurt wrist as he's struggling to glue the broken piece from Dragoon MSUV back on. He'll be very depressed looking as he puts his blade back into the cabinet, and the scene will probably end with Tyson standing in some far off corner wearing a serious expression, knowing something has happened, but not revealing himself to Makoto. The next morning they will resume training with sword practice, Tyson now having taken on a bit of his grandfather's role as the sword training mentor trying to pass on the tradition. There will be small talk of whether Makoto wants to end the practice early today to go to the preliminary matches, to which he'll reply he's not interested in Beyblading anymore. Tyson will be surprised, but continue the sword practice, eventually noticing Makoto having pain in his wrist, to which Makoto will reply that he's probably slept on it. Tyson will end the training telling his son to relax for the day. If this chapter had turned into 2 chapters, we'd insert some build-up into Rin's upcoming battle here. But if the single chapter format holds true, we'll move directly onto Tyson sitting down and meditating in a dark room. He'll light candles and close his eyes before 3 pictures asking, "What would you have done? Grandpa? Father? Hero?" This puts emphasis on the fact that Hero is missing from Tyson's life at this moment, and this is something that's going to come into play later on in the story. This scene is also important because Tyson himself is looking for guidance to transform from the pupil into the mentor, and being unsure how to do so, he meditates on what his former mentors, those before him, would have done. With both his grandfather and father passing away, plus his brother missing, it's not surprising that Tyson has picked up a new path in life. But he can still relate to Makoto and how he feels, which is why he doesn't want to scold him. When this scene is more detailed and written out, it might be a good idea to have some groundwork to Hero missing and Grandpa missing. It all depends though, if we have 2 chapters or 1, because when we get round to drawing chapters, we understand that each scene will have to be narrowed down to the absolute minimum for the sake of the artist's time schedule. We could continue with Makoto lying in bed, thinking back to his face-off against Gao and the words that haunt him, that he's not fit to be a Beyblader. Eventually Tyson will come in encouraging him to watch the matches, even if he's not going to participate. Eventually they do watch the final match of the first block. This is where most of the meat for the potential shadow chapter is going to be. Rin, and maybe even Nori, are going to battle it out against Zenjiro. If it's a single chapter, we can maybe only show the ending to this conflict, but if it's 2 chapters, we can flesh out the battle in full, plus include some of the build up for it, in between the Makoto scenes. So let's run down the basics of what the full battle might have looked like. Zenjiro, the undisputed championship partner of Taiki, would not want to waste any time requesting their signature dish, asking to face all opponents straight ahead in a free-for-all. It could also work as a one-on-one between Rin and Zenjiro, but the intensity could be greater with more bladers included in this dish, thus leading up to Rin and Zenjiro towards the end. The dish would be called the Maggot's Nest, and would be based off a structure of an underground ant city. I suggest you watch a video of how truly massive such an anthill city can be, with tunnels and chambers and how badass the structure could look. The concept is that there would be tiny cameras within the tunnels following the bays on the monitors. The combatants would rip their bays and the dish would rise afterwards, like a huge ant farm with glass so you could see into certain parts of the dish directly. This would all make for a very claustrophobic showdown where Rin could not use her special move, the White Tiger Slash. As shown in chapter 1, she does not battle very well in confined spaces, and her special attack had claw-like marks to the side of her bay, then she strikes her opponent sideways. In other words, these attacks are useless in a tiny space where blades for the most part can only face head-on. Her only chance for victory is to somehow lure her opponent into the Queen's chamber and use her special attack there. Her opponent Zenjiro, however, is a pro at the stadium. His bit beast is a Japanese hornet, and I suggest you watch a video of their slaughter. Like the hornet slaughters European bees, I want to do Zenjiro's blade slaughtering his opponents one by one. You should check out a nature video of that, just as well to get a grasp of the fear and terror. Speaking of bays, while we're at it, maybe we should discuss what blades the Tokyo Blades are using. Taiki is the only one who has mastered the HMS blade, shown here. As for the 3 underlings, Zenjiro, Ren and Minoru, they all use an unreleased set of Beyblades called the Beyblade Insect. These were obscure plastic generation Beyblades that were released a couple of years after G-Revolution, but also way before Metal Fight Beyblade. In other words, they are carrying a part of Beyblade history as the last of the plastic generation. As for who carries what blade, Minoru would carry the Rhinoceros Beetle with the bit named Diande. Ren would carry the Stag Beetle Blade, renamed Mantai, with a Praying Mantis bit, and Zenjiro would carry the Hercules Beetle Blade, renamed Hanade. Anyway, the battle between Rin and Zenjiro could involve some serious WC rivalry between the White Tigers and the Tokyo Blades, and it could also be later concluded in the Queen's Chamber, where both could use their special attacks, and Jiren could fight head-on against the Giant Hornet and his Silver Sling attack. The point of the battle would be to build up a notion in Zenjiro similar to how Gao viewed Makoto, thus inspiring Makoto to get out of his depression when he sees Rin win, and then when he wants to get stronger and join up in the next day's match. Makoto would pick up his ordinary HMS Beyblade, and for his training I'd like to suggest ripping off Beyblade Rising for a bit. While we do respect Beyblade Rising and consider those events to have taken place in our story in a different form, the training that Tyson went through, cutting into the rock with his Beyblade, is way below the power level we'd imagine post-G-Revolution Tyson to be at. But for Makoto that's still on a lower level, it totally makes sense and it could be an interesting training method. If you take into account that Makoto's hurt his wrists, maybe he ties up to his neck and keeps him going all night despite the pain, it could show a great display of dedication. Anyway, if this chapter is cut in two, it ends on the note of Nori and Rin being attacked after the match by Ren and all of the Tokyo Blade minions. Both get their base stolen, along with a message to deliver to Makoto. It's payback time, as Ren would put it. In the morning, Rin and Nori would come to him asking for his help to get their base back. They tell him Ren's ultimatum. He wants Makoto to bring Dragoon MSUV to the tournament and place it as a bet to gain back Rin and Nori's Beyblades. If Makoto doesn't show up, both his friends' blades will be destroyed. But if Makoto shows up and loses, Ren suggests raising the wages by making Dragoon MSUV their prize. This all adds another level of risk to the battle, as you already know there are nefarious characters behind the scenes of the Tokyo Blades. Makoto cannot risk losing his father's blade in the battle, but as Rin pleads explaining how important her blade is to her and her clan, and how she cannot return home without it, Makoto eventually has to give in. He goes into the trophy room once more, in a hurry as the preliminaries start, at any moment. He finds the cabinet now with a lock on it, probably his father attempting to protect him. Makoto grabs a sword and says, "Sorry, Dad," breaking the glass and taking Dragoon and MSUV one final time. Tyson comes out after Makoto runs away, and looks at the glass saying in disappointment and worry, "Makoto." They hurry to the battle, and as Makoto registers, he set off to face off in the same block as both Ren and Minoru at the same time in an all-out battle royale, presumably with several other opponents as well. While this battle isn't fully planned out, depending on how long we can make it while we still have various ideas, such as making Andrew the Japanese DJ. But even though we need to be flexible, if this has to turn into 2 chapters or stay as one, it doesn't hurt to flesh things out for a bit. So let's go into a more studio script light for a while here. Rin and Nori would be watching from the audience front row before the battle starts, as Rin would state in a sad worried tone, "You're sure he could do this, right? I mean, he's got to have some experience at least." Nori would respond, "Yeah, he participated in preliminaries twice now. I'm sure he'll make it this time." Rin says, "Wait, you mean he's never even made it past the preliminaries?" Nori continues, "No, but 3rd time's a charm." Nori stands up and cheers, "Go Makoto!" Rin looks crushed. "Okay, now I'm concerned." Makoto waves at them, looking happy. "Don't worry guys, I'll win this, no problem." There'll be some trash talk between Ren and Makoto before the battle, initiated by Ren. "I see you're here. Does that mean you've accepted the terms of our bet?" Makoto looks on to Ren, turning with a serious face. "Yes, I have." Ren continues, "That's good. I've been looking forward to making you pay for what you did back at the Hive." Makoto looks down. "I'm glad you're here too. I've been looking forward to make you pay for stealing my friend's Beyblades." Ren calls forward in madness. "Very funny, but we'll see who's laughing after I lay claim to your father's blade." Makoto looks kind of mad. "I'm not laughing." Ren glares with hunger for battle, saying, "You're right. Leave the laughter to me." The DJ calls out, "All Breeders get ready! 3! Ren raises his launcher with ferocity, thinking, "Before, I knew nothing about you, Makoto. But now I know it all. That's why I have the perfect plan to defeat you this time." 2! Makoto raises his launcher with his wrapped up wrist, wearing a worried look, thinking, "I can't afford to lose this battle, no matter what." 1! Minoru raises his blade, thinking, "I wonder what's for dinner tonight." "Let it rip!" Makoto would rip his blade hard, making his wrist hurt, cringing in pain from the force of the rip of the powerful Dragoon MSUV. The other bladers will also rip their blades, Ren ripping it with a smirk, seeing Makoto's pain. Ren and Minoru would waste no time cleaning up, Ren saying, "Let's go, Minoru." Minoru responds, "Yes, big bro." Ren and Minoru take out the competition as Makoto moves out of the way. "Dragoon, keep your distance!" Rin and Nori watches from the front row of the audience. Rin comments with a hint of surprise. "That's strange. He seems to be avoiding them. Is he concerned with their power, waiting to wear them out?" Nori looks on. "Well, it could be because of the damage from the previous battle against that Gal guy." Rin looks shocked. "Wait, he didn't repair it?" Nori looks serious. "He did, using super glue." Rin looks crushed and mind-fucked. "What? Who the hell does that?" The DJ calls out, "Minoru and Ren are really cleaning the field with their competition." Rin and Minoru beat a HMS blade around between them before striking it to pieces. The pieces fly towards Dragoon MSUV as Makoto holds back. Ren raises his finger, pointing towards Makoto with a threatening look of anger. "Soon it's your turn, Makoto." DJ comments as Makoto looks worried. "Looks like we have some rivalry in the stadium today." Makoto thinking, "Just hang in there, Dragoon." Minoru is laughing as he crushes one of his opponents. "Puny blade go boom." Ren looks at Minoru with a hint of wickedness. "Let's do the twin blast double slam. I'm growing tired of these small fries." Minoru nods. "Got it, big bro." Mantai lands on top of Daende as they move towards one of the blades in front of Dragoon. Makoto worried, thinking, "What?" Daende leans down sideways and Mantai slides down full force. Minoru is smiling while Ren is saying, "Get ready for the power of..." The two blades flash in a bow-like formation in opposite sides of the stadium, knocking out several blades at once while the both brothers finish their sentence. "The power of the Yamazaki brothers!" The DJ holds the mic in awe. "Such incredible strength," DJ continues. "But it is expected of our former tag team champions." Rin's eyes open wide as she remembers. "Oh no!" Rin looks down, concerned from the reaction. "What is it?" Rin looks terrified. "How could I have been so stupid?" Rin looks annoyed. "Just tell me already." Rin keeps talking. "Ren and Minoru Yamasaki. They are the famous Yamasaki brothers." Nori looks confused. "Well, it does sound familiar. Is it bad?" Rin looks worried while the screen flashes with their various tag team movements, eliminating the competition one by one. "This is more than bad. They're an infamous tag team duo that held the title of the best blade in Japan before Taiki entered the scene. Individually they are weaker, but when battling together, they are a threat that might be even to Taiki himself." Nori looks awestruck. "You have to be kidding." Rin stands up, calls to Makoto, who tries to keep his distance from them. "Careful, Makoto! Try to separate them! They are way stronger together!" Makoto hears it and looks at Rin. "Huh." Turns to Ren and Minoru whispering, "I'll try." Makoto calls out, "Go, Dragoon!" As Dragoon flashes past Mantide, Ren taking the bait going after him saying, "You're mine." Minoru looks disappointed as he's not as fast. "Ren, wait for me, big bro." Ren looks down at Minoru with annoyance. "Shut up, Minoru." Minoru looks down sad. "Okay." Dragoon awaits Mantide's attack, while Makoto thinks, "Here it goes." Mantide moves forth, facing against Dragoon head-on with the sparks flying as he's being pushed back towards the edge of the stadium as Ren speaks. "You should have kept on running." Dragoon is nearly pushed over the edge as Makoto clenches his fist with a hurting wrist as he bites together in pain, fighting back in panic. "Push back, Dragoon!" Dragoon pushes forward, sliding into the side of Mantide, making it fall back a bit. Makoto aims for Daende, down in the middle instead, calling out, "Straight ahead! Take him!" Ren steps back in full rage mode. "You shit!" As Makoto aims for the center, Mantide jumps up on top of Dragoon. Ren calls out, "I'm not done with you yet." His blade is balancing on the edge of Dragoon at the same high speed of Dragoon's spin rate. The imbalance is making it tip sideways, making it slide down in an odd angle, totally unfit for attack. Makoto is trying to stop the movement down, but it's impossible as he looks on with a horrified expression thinking, "I've never seen a move like this before." Ren is sitting beside Nori sweating. "This is bad." Ren smiles wickedly. "Now is your chance, Minoru. Get him." "Got it, bro." Daende flies up to the sky to drop down towards Dragoon. Makoto panics. Dragoon, drop down! Dragoon turns all the way down, making Mantide fall off and slide away as Dragoon grinds down to the centre, quickly with sparks beneath it, accepting that damage rather than the attack. Daende crashes down into the piece, breaking cracks into the stadium. Sabaton Horn! Dragoon regains stability as Makoto breathes out. That was close. If that had actually hit me, I'd be done for. Makoto looks at the cracks beneath Minoru's Daende blade and says, Hey, wait a minute. That attack looks familiar. Makoto looks at Minoru and points at him. Hold on! I fought you before, haven't I? Minoru looks confused as Makoto continues talking. Yeah! You were that guy that beat me the first time I joined the preliminary tournament. Your blade was like really heavy and stuff. Makoto continues ranting and praising him. And you had crazy endurance, it was so cool. Minoru blushes. Aww, you really think so? Ren looks at Minoru furiously and hits him. Stop being a retard, Minoru. He's playing with your head, you damn ass. Makoto looks on. Ren points at him with a disappointed look on his face. Why are you playing with him though? That guy totally sucks. Ren looks at him angrily. You bastard. Minoru gets a seriously frightening look on his face. Nobody makes fun of my big brother. Makoto looks concerned, thinking, Oops. Ren smiles with sadistic joy. Now you'll pay. Minoru screams out in pure rage. Daende! Sabaton Horn! Destroy him! Rin looks worried. Oh no, here it comes. His rhinoceros beetle bit appears from his blade and it strikes down the Dragoon, hitting up to the very edge of the stadium, making it bounce on for dear life. Makoto looks freaked out, thinking, What attack power! DJ continues talking. Wow, how close! One more inch and it would have been a stadium out for Makoto. One should really keep a good distance from the attack of Daende. Such a powerful Beyblade! Makoto calls out in full panic mode. Get back in there, Dragoon! Dragoon slides in again when suddenly Mantide appears out of nowhere, striking down into Daende as Ren says with a dark face, Playtime is over. Rin looks on. This can't go on for much longer. They're about to end it. Makoto struggles to get Dragoon out of the jam, but each time he tries to escape, Mantide appears at high speed, striking back into Daende, spinning in the centre, bouncing him back to his brother. Rin explains things. Minoru's Daende attacks so powerfully because it's so heavy, but its true strength is based around defense and endurance, while Ren's Mantide is based around speed and attack. Together they make a perfect combination. What one can't do, the other can. Minoru stands there laughing as tiny fragments from Dragoon fly up in the air, and he says, Haha, pun babe go bye bye. Rin continues, There's no way to win this. We should tell him to quit this match before Dragoon gets completely destroyed. The two brothers pass Dragoon around between each other like a useless piece of junk, just toying with him. Ren laughs. What's wrong, great king of Beyblading? Too scared to fight back? Makoto stands there with a sad face, struggling to hold on, closing his eyes, trying to put faith back into his Dragoon. Please, Dragoon, hang in there. Just a bit longer. I believe in you. Ren looks mad. I've had enough of you. Suddenly, he summons his bit beast from his blade. Go, Mantide! Mantide strikes into Dragoon, taking off a piece from the battle against Gao. Makoto looks on in shock as he falls down to his knees, breathing heavily, speaking to his bae. Please, Dragoon, hang in there. I need you. As Rin rises up to call for Makoto to quit the match, Nori looks on with determination. Makoto won't quit. Rin looks back in surprise. Huh? Nori looks at Makoto, struggling as the Yamazaki brothers are playing with him. Makoto will never quit. You don't know him like I do. Nori keeps on watching. Makoto has never been that great of a blade leader. In fact, everyone used to make fun of him. Nori smiles. That's why I believe in him. Rin looks up at Nori smiling. That makes no sense. A flashback assumes that Makoto returned to his friends after his first tournament as Nori continues his speech. It makes perfect sense. He failed his first tournament completely. Still, he went around calling himself the king of Beyblading and everyone laughed and thought of him as a joke. It shows a flashback of kids making fun of him. Nobody ever believed he was the son of the great Tyson Granger. Considering how much he bragged, everyone just assumed he made up the name and dressed like him to impress people. Then, one day, when he won his first local tournament, everyone was surprised. It shows flashbacks of Makoto smiling, coming up to the other kids with a plaque. Now, I am the king of Beyblade. Nori continues speaking. He kept on fighting opponents that were way stronger than himself, only to lose over and over again. They broke his Beyblades countless times, but he always got back up no matter how many times he failed. And that's when I realised. It shows Makoto smiling, showing a peace sign after losing his first preliminary round. Nori finishes. When he brags that he's the king of Beyblading and that he's going to be the best, he's not telling it to other people so that they will believe him. He's telling it to himself so that he won't ever give up, no matter how bad the situation or how tough the opponent. He won't ever quit. No matter what anyone tells him, he won't stop believing in himself. A flashback comes of Makoto training previously against the Rock. That's why, when I saw that look on his face in this morning, I knew he'd do everything to win this. It's the same look he had as the look when he declared he'd mastered the HMS system. Everyone abandoned him and kept telling him, just stop it already, you're not on that level, just quit, this is getting stupid. But guess what? Not too long after that, he managed to do just that. He mastered the HMS system, despite what everyone told him. Nori rises up and says with determination, "That's why I know he can win this battle." Rin looks sad as Nori adds to the final sentence. Some bladers say that those like Makoto who talk big and never give up, those who keep biting off more than they could chew, should just quit. I think they are wrong. Both Dayande and Mantai strike into Dragoon at the same time. Makoto struggling to hold them back as they are pushing Dragoon towards the edge. Ren looks surprised thinking, "What amazing resistance! Any ordinary blade would have been torn to shreds by now." Rin throws all her doubts and rises all fired up. "Keep fighting, Makoto, you can do it!" Nori sees her enthusiasm and calls out, "That's right, pal, we're behind you, I believe in you, bud, come on!" Makoto looks to the side and looks forward to Dragoon, just on the edge of the stadium. Ren calls out, "It's over, push him over the edge." Makoto rises beyond his exhaustion and pain and screams out, "Dragoon!" Dragoon suddenly strikes both of them back. Ren and Minoru looks on in shock as Makoto stands before them, breathing heavily still in the stadium. Ren looks at Dragoon. "Dragoon MSUV. It truly is the most powerful blade in the world." He points at Makoto, breathing heavily, struggling to stand up. "That's why it should not be wielded by a runt like you." Ren looks at his brother and declares, "Let's end this now. Get ready for the final attack." Minoru sends Dayande to the center and answers, "Got it." Mantai gets on top of Dayande and Ren comments, "I anticipated it might not be that easy to defeat your blade, so I conducted this plan to guarantee our victory." Makoto looks on in desperation as they get ready for their final attack, thinking, "I must counterattack." Dragoon charges down full force to take them on in one final move, as he calls out, "Go Dragoon!" Ren smiles his most devious smile yet and says, "Game over." Mantai suddenly strikes into the side of Dayande, calling out, "Severance Slice!" Dayande explodes into pieces as Dragoon MSUV reaches it, the pieces flying, scratching Dragoon up. As the stadium is covered in smoke from the severe destruction, Makoto looks on in shock, standing frozen. Rin rises up in anger, trying to jump out the audience seats as Nori holds onto her, stopping her while she screams, "That's disgusting!" Minoru falls to his knees, wailing in despair. "Big bro? What have you done, big bro? It was an accident, right, big..." Suddenly, the praying mantis bit turns towards Minoru as Ren speaks. "How many times do I have to tell you to shut up?" Mantai cuts over Minoru, making him fall back onto the floor, with blood over the surface of his stomach. Makoto looks on completely in disgust. Inside the stadium, Mantai is spinning around in circles, while Dragoon stands in the middle as the smoke is clearing. Makoto bites together, trying to hold in the anger. "What did you do that for? For the bastard Taiki? He's your own damn brother!" Makoto screams at him, totally disgusted. Ren laughs. "You're really stupid, aren't you?" Ren points at Dragoon MSUV wobbling. "Look, your blade is weakened. It's not much left now." Ren looks back up at Makoto. "I'm not doing this for this bastard Taiki. I'm doing it for myself. Don't you get it?" Ren moves his hands to the sides and calls out in a look of madness. "I'm doing this to become world champion." Makoto's eyes open wide in fury, as if what he said were an insult. "You think you're going to become world champion by destroying your brother's blade?" Ren looks on in madness. "No, I'm gonna become world champion by obtaining your father's blade for myself. The strongest blade in the world. Now, after I have that, I don't need trash like that anymore, Ren says as he points down towards his brother, laying on the floor weeping. Ren clenches his fist with an evil look like he's trying to hold back laughter. I'm done standing in Taiki's shadow, as no one will be able to stand against me after this battle. No one! Makoto looks on with an emotionless expression. You disgust me. Ren looks on with laughter. Who cares what you think? You're no better than my piece of shit brother. Mantad strikes into Dragoon, breaking off tiny pieces. Rin rises, calling out, Forfeit the match, Makoto! The deal is off! It's not worth it! This guy is not worth it! Just quit and save your blade! Makoto looks on with an unmoved face. It's too late. Makoto lowers his arms. If the likes of you are gonna become world champion, I'd be ashamed to wear that title. Mantad attacks over and over. Makoto closes his eyes and raises his arms to his sides. If that's how it is, just finish me. Both Rin and Nori's jaws drop. Nori says, What is he doing? Rin, he's given up? Ren smiles, wide like a complete psychopath. Ha, yes, that's the way, accept defeat. Mantide strikes into Dragoon over and over, making it lose spinning power. Go, 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 Ren says, raising his arms into the air in delight. Mantide moves back for one final attack. I'll win. Go, Mantide! The Mantide bit appears, striking down with its arm towards Makoto, standing with his eyes closed and arms in the air as Ren calls out, Severance Slice! Ren and Nori scream out together. Makoto! Ren looks on in shock. Huh? Makoto looks up with a cocky smile. Took you long enough. Dragoon! The cutting arm of Mantide was stopped by the all too familiar claws of the same old Dragoon Bit Beast, now standing before Makoto, defending him. Ren looks up and steps back in terror, speaking in a trembling voice. It can't be. There's no way. They said you've not mastered Dragoon. This shouldn't happen. It's impossible. Makoto looks on in determination. What's truly impossible is for the likes of you to become world champion, Ren. Dragoon strikes the arm of Mantide away like a piece of garbage. The blade does the same. Ren panics. This can't be happening. Makoto looks on in anger. It takes more than a blade to make a champion, Ren. Makoto raises his fist up. It takes something you lack. The blade of spirit, Makoto says, as Dragoon charges into Mantide. Go! Dragoon! Dragoon strikes the Mantide bit with its claws, as the blade charges forth with such pure force of wind, it sends the blade flying back into Ren's stomach and sends Ren flying onto the floor with such high speed, landing away, knocked out cold. DJ in the entire dome stands up in shock before he announces, And the winner is Makoto! The crowd cheers and Rin jumps out of the booth with Nori crying. He did it! The madman, he actually did it! Rin calls out with happiness. Makoto! Rin and Nori jump down to congratulate him as Makoto jumps down and picks up his blade among the pieces of Daiande. Rin and Nori get surprised as Makoto walks up to the crying Minoru lying on the floor. Makoto bows down and rips a piece of his shirt, putting it on top of Minoru's wound. I just wanted to thank you for an awesome battle. Minoru looks down in confusion as Makoto continues. I'm sorry your blade got destroyed. Makoto puts the pieces in his hand. But you sure fought one heck of a battle. You might not be the smartest, but I'm sure you'll become a great champion someday. Minoru sits up and holds his blade in pieces, looking at him, crying, looking sad. Brother always said I was dumb. Makoto smiles at him. Hey, the only thing that made you dumb was hanging around with that stupid brother of yours. Other than that, you're way smarter than I am. I can vouch for that, Nori adds, as he and Rin stand by the stadium. Rin smiling, looking kind of touched by Makoto's actions, but all the same, he couldn't help but giggle at Nori's comment, with Makoto laughing too. And Minoru smiling, tearing up, giving Makoto a big hug. Thank you, Makoto. Easy there now, big guy. You're embarrassing me, Makoto comments as Minoru hugs him really tightly, and Makoto closes his eyes, trying to pat his back to make him let go. Around this time, Ren wakes up looking at them, then looks at his broken blade, throwing it away. Damn it. I'm not leaving here empty-handed, he adds as he crawls up, starts running, thinking, I've still got that trigger blade, and I'm not giving it back. Just as Ren thinks he's about to get away, he bumps into someone, and falls all over into the ground. He yells out at him, Watch it, will you? The man hunches down towards him, and we actually reveal it to be Tyson Granger. I think you dropped something. Ren looks up in terror. It's you! Tyson reaches down and picks up the Beyblades that fell out of his pockets, lifting the trigger blade and looking at it. This is definitely not yours. Ren panics and crawls up in terror and runs out into the dark corridor thinking, shit. Tyson calls back at him, echoing throughout the corridor. Hey kid, you better work on that crappy attitude. Tyson then looks forward at the trigger blade and walks into the dome as Makoto is standing laughing talking to his friends, not noticing the shadow forming behind him. As Rin and Nori look up with a sort of worried look, Makoto turns around too. Ah, Dad? Makoto gets into a defensive position in a fit of pure panic. Please, don't beat me with your kendo sword, I can explain! Tyson puts his hand on top of Makoto's head. Makoto, I'm proud of you, Tyson says as Makoto looks up at him. You defended your friend's blades, and even more, you succeeded in finding the spirit at the hardest of your moments. Makoto looks on in confusion hearing his father's words. I don't get it, but hey, if it means I'm not getting punished, I'm all for it. Makoto smiles and Tyson smiles back. Oh, you're still getting punished. For one thing, you're paying for that broken cabinet through having no allowance, and I'm removing the TV from your room for risking your wrist over there. And you're not eating anything but vegetables for a whole week, because you need to get ready for the World Championships. Makoto whines. But Dad, I hate World Championships? Makoto looks shocked. Wait, what? Tyson crosses his arms and looks forward. You're only one battle away from the World Championships, and well, since I can't really punish you for stealing Dragoon, now that Dragoon has accepted you. Tyson snatches Dragoon MSUV out of Makoto's hands. Hey, what are you doing? Tyson continues. Since I can't punish you, I'm taking this blade to someone to repair it, and then as soon as you've checked up on your wrist and had some rest, I'm going to give you the hardest training of your life for your upcoming match tomorrow. Makoto looks on in amazement. Are you serious? Tyson smiles. Indeed I am. Mastering Dragoon is not easy. Speaking of tomorrow's match, I think you should head over to the other dome and check out who your opponents might be. Any information could be vital if you want to win. Makoto, Rin and Nori look on as they remember. Oh yeah, that's right. We better head there too right now, Nori says. Tyson says, Hold on, I believe these are yours. He throws the blades to Rin and Nori. Rin says, Right, I was almost so caught up I forgot. Tyson moves away, giving his final words. Just don't be as forgetful as my son, and keep an eye on him, will ya? Rin bows, smiling. Sure will, Mr. Granger, sir. Nori comments, We better hurry up to the stadium. Makoto adds, Let's go! Tyson raises his arms, leaving the call. See you later, kids. They run into the corridor, but suddenly Makoto falls downwards, feeling exhausted. Nori looks surprised. Makoto! Makoto struggles to get up. I'm okay. Rin comments as she helps him up. You fought hard. You should let us carry you. Nori comes to the other side, lifting his arm around the neck as Makoto says, Thank you, guys. They lift him up, holding him, when suddenly they hear footsteps throughout the door. Someone's coming, Rin whispered, like she's got a feeling she doesn't want that person they hear. The silhouette starts to emerge from the darkness. Nori suddenly falls down unconscious. Nori! Rin calls in shock. What now? The hat-wearing man in the shadow starts speaking. That was an impressive battle you fought there, boy. Makoto's vision is getting blurry as he looks on saying, Huh? Before him stands Mr. Skelton from the previous chapter with a smile. I'm almost a bit touched. It was so much like your father, he states and laughs. Rin looks uncomfortable and looks down at Nori, lying unconscious. Nori, wake up! She says, kicking him with her foot as she feels Makoto getting heavier. Makoto! Skelton looks on, unaffected by the events, like they are normal. Don't worry, little girl. Both of them are alright. She looks on at the man and speaks with an accusing voice. Who are you? Skelton smiles mockingly. Who am I? How many times have I not asked myself that? For now, let's just call me an old friend of the Granger family. Makoto struggles, rising up, and eventually stands on 2 feet to Rin's surprise. Makoto? Are you okay? She can tell that his legs are weak. Skelton smiles. See? The boy is not so weak after all. Makoto looks on emotionless, wide eyes as Skelton keeps on talking. Today's generation know nothing about the true meaning of Beyblading, thinking the Blader spirit is but a joke or an illusion. Rin looks on with confusion, thinking, what the hell is he on about? Skelton continues looking into Makoto's eyes with a fanatic expression. No matter what they do or say, no matter how much time passes, there will always be a spirit that endures. Skelton smiles wide with a mocking expression. The Blader spirit shall never die. Am I right? Rin looks confused. What should she make of this? As Makoto looks on in silence, struggling to stand. Rin whispers, is this guy crazy or something? Makoto moves down silently and lifts up Nori, carrying him silently, saying, you're right. The Blader spirit shall never die. Makoto struggles, walking past the smiling Skelton, who stands there still unflinching. It takes a lot to beat unbeatable odds. Make it to World Championship Finals. I'm sure you'll face challenges, the likes of which you've never even dreamed of. Makoto walks on and says calmly as Rin is really confused. Let's go, Makoto adds. Rin nods yes, as Skelton walks past her smiling. I'm sorry, seems I've held you up long enough. Rin and Makoto walk away as Skelton's words echo behind them. Remember what I said, boy. Skelton looks back with an evil smile. Keep your eyes on the horizon, and perhaps we'll meet again someday. Skelton's laughter is echoing through the corridor and fading as Makoto and Rin walk on, carrying the unconscious Nori as Rin asks, who was that guy? Makoto answers with the same emotionless look. I don't know, but that man carried a bit beast. Makoto's answer makes Rin's eyes open up wide. What? How do you know that? Makoto turns around looking back. Somehow, I sensed it. Nori wakes up slowly. What happened? Makoto answers with a big smile. Nothing. Let's hurry to the dome. Rin is confused, but Nori nods and smiles like he remembers nothing. Makoto smiles too, as Rin thinks, just who or what was that man? They all hurry to the dome, where if we make this a single or 2 chapters, find Gao defeating Taiki. And if we make this 3 chapters, Gao versus Taiki could go on for 1 chapter, or a third option is that moving the battle to the start of the chapter after this, depending on how long the final fight is going to be. Either way, if we can show this fight on screen, this chapter will end with Makoto seeing Gao acting shocked that he's in the tournament. Okay, we'll call this a wrap. Thanks for watching this video. If you liked it, make sure to leave a like and a subscription. There'll be more videos coming in the future. And we are also looking for more artists and narrators to help with future videos and to continue with the project. So if you're interested, head on to the description. There's a link to the Facebook page. And yeah, feel free to join.